Hello everyone, my name is Danni Wells and I just want to talk to you for the next 10-15 minutes a little bit about the online business that I have and how I even came around to finding this. So my background was in ophthalmology. I used to work for a popular high street opticians in the UK and worked for them for many years, and in all honesty thought that I would be there until retirement, which is 60, 65, maybe even like 70, 75, 80 by then. Who knows what retirement age is going to be? It just keeps like getting further and further along. And what happened to us, we're a family of four. So me and my husband and our two daughters. Our youngest daughter had a stroke and a brain hemorrhage, and it came completely out of the blue. We didn't see it coming, and we didn't have a plan in place. Like, you know how some people always have like a plan B? Well, we're not one of those families. We didn't have a plan B. And when she was rushed into hospital, I was obviously with her, and they said that she would have cerebral palsy, and they said that she would need a lot of extra support and help. And I took a year off work to be with her in hospital. And when she was eventually discharged, she had to still go back to the hospital every other day. And I was with her through all of that, all the MRI scans, all the extra care that she needed. And after the year of not working and obviously not being paid, and we got into a lot of debt during that time as well, because we were just trying to survive on my husband's income. After that year, my boss rang me up, who owned the franchise that I worked for, and basically said, look, Danni, what's going on? Are you coming back? And for anyone out there that has staff, I know you need to know what's going on. So I had to make the decision that I didn't really want to make, but I knew it was the right thing to do for everybody, to leave. So that he could employ somebody else, he wasn't left in limbo, and also so that I could immerse myself in the care of my daughter. And when we made that decision, two things happened that weren't great. Number one, financially, we were in a mess. We were in such a mess. Like we were scraping by on two incomes with me and my husband. So can you imagine when one income was gone? Like, my husband would get paid and his income would pay for the bills at the start of the month, food for the first couple of weeks, and then we'd get to halfway through the month and there would literally be no money left for the second half of the week. So we'd be scrimping about, sometimes even trying to choose between putting the heating on or buying like decent fresh fruit and vegetables. And that's like decisions that no one should ever be in. So that was the first thing. Financially, it was terrible. This went on for about 2 years. The second thing that happened was I completely lost my identity, my purpose, my passion. I lost just who I was. And they say that happiness comes from being in a part of a community, having a purpose, having a place, being able to grow. And it was almost like all of that was taken away from me. I love being a mum and I needed to do what I needed to do, but I needed a bit of me as well. And I didn't have that. So after about 2 years of this miserable time happening, I was looking for something. I don't know if you heard the ding in the back. That was my doorbell. So I just had to quickly pause it then. So back in the room. So after 2 years, yes, I was actively looking for something. And I was really struggling because I'm not somebody that actually has that many skills. If I'm really honest, I don't have that many skills. So everything I looked at was skill-based, or the hours weren't right for me to be in and out of hospital all the time with my daughter. And I kind of felt like I was a bit unemployable. Can you imagine trying to employ somebody that says, I can do that job well, but just so you know, sometimes I'm going to get a phone call to say my daughter's had a seizure and she's back in hospital again, and that can happen 3 times a week, and I don't know when it's going to happen. Trying to employ somebody like that. So I started looking at franchises, and some of the franchises I looked at were fantastic. They were sensational, but the price tag attached to them, no matter how great I thought they were, I just did not have the money to be able to do it. So they kind of were just like, well, I can't do that. And then I came across Arbonne. I'd never heard of it. And it was a friend that I was friends with when I was in the Air Cadets, the ATC, when I was little as a teenager. And she basically said to me, look, Danni, I know you're going through a bit of a sticky time at the minute. Let me tell you about this business. It will take me 10 minutes. And if it's not for you, we've only lost 10 minutes. I'll buy you a coffee. And I was just grateful for the coffee at the time, actually, because at that time, I mean, this was 8 years ago, I was addicted to coffee. That was before I found the Arbonne fizz sticks and replaced it for a healthier alternative. I was like, yeah, I'll have a coffee. So I sat down with her, and I'm going to show you what she shared with me, and hopefully I can do it in the same amount of time that she did it to me. Right. So she basically said, Arbonne is a company that has been around for 40 years. And when she said 40, I thought, okay, so if I am going to get involved with whatever this thing is that she's doing, I like that it didn't just pop up, a few months ago and then it's here today, gone tomorrow. So when she said 40 years, it kind of like ticked my box. She said it was basically the founder of this company, Arbonne, was called Petter Mork, who was from Norway. And he was a massive visionary, like think of Walt Disney, like a massive visionary, and just wanted to leave a legacy and help people in this world. And he worked as a botanist. So he worked with plants in science, and he worked for a company, quite a famous company, I won't mention the name, that sells skincare. Now, this company in the States that he was headhunted and worked for in the science laboratories, they did a lot of bad things. So they knowingly put a lot of chemicals into products, knowing that it was going to cause long-term health problems. And this was like, 50, 60 years ago. And we know now, fast forward into the future, the court cases that go on from companies that knew what they were doing with these chemicals, like parabens in deodorants and sodium lauryl sulfate and aluminium, things like that. These companies knew, and he worked for a company that was bad, basically. And he didn't agree with what was happening. So he decided to leave and create one of the first ever companies that created skincare and day-to-day products, things like toothpaste, deodorant, shampoo, sun cream, day-to-day essential products that were all plant-based and were free of all the nasty ingredients. And at this point, think back to the 60s and 70s, this was unheard of. But he was adamant he was going to create one of the first companies that would do good for the world, do good things for the world. And when he created Arbonne, he didn't want his products to be sold in shops, because when products are sold in shops, and I know this from working at the opticians, the price goes up about 80%. So, we used to sell frames and lenses at the optician where people would pay £200 for them, and they would cost £1 or £2 to make. And obviously I know you need to make a profit. The companies don't do it for nothing. I get that. But when they're putting the prices up so much, it's extortionate. So he knew that if his products weren't sold in a shop, he wouldn't have to put the prices up to pay for the advertising, the marketing, the shop costs, the staff, that massive chunk of the profit margin. So he thought, how can people know about my products without them going through the shop route? And he decided, he had the vision, because his mum was a single mum, she had 4 children and she worked 3 jobs. He actually looked at that and said, I am going to make this company word of mouth. So people can decide if they want to get an Arbonne online business, like a franchise. And then if they want to, they can use the products themselves and recommend them themselves and get paid for any referrals they make, completely word of mouth. And this was revolutionary. This was like unheard of. So he launched in 1980, and that is how this 40-year-old company has grown to nearly $1 billion company, word of mouth. And I just think, particularly women, if we use a product that we don't love, we don't recommend it. But if we find something that we love and we're like, oh my gosh, this worked, it really made a difference, we tell everyone. So he was a genius doing this, because every bit of advice that you get from an Arbonne consultant is true to them. Like, that's their honest experience. And I don't know about you guys, but at the minute, I won't even book a holiday without finding somebody that's been to that exact place on that company aeroplane. I want a real person with a real experience. Or if I'm going to watch a Netflix documentary, I won't dedicate 10 hours of my time to watch a series on Netflix without finding a real person that's watched the documentary first to hear from them. Like, I want real people and their real opinion. And that's why Arbonne grows so quickly, because it's real people giving their real opinion. And that's what most people want. So I said to my friend, it sounds great. Do I have any targets? Have I got any tie-ins? She was like, nope. She was like, you pay £30 for the year for your website. That is basically your website built. I was like, okay. And she goes, and then you use whatever products you want to use. There's over 500 products. You get all the products at cost as a perk to being a consultant, which I thought that's nice. And she said, and obviously that saves a lot of people money. And she said, and then if you recommend anything to anyone that results in them shopping on your website, the website knows that they shop through your referral. It's like a referral link, and you get paid 35% for the referral. So basically, she said, if somebody liked what you've shared with them and they go on and they spend £100 on your website, the next week you get paid £35. And honestly, to me, I was like, what? I was like, this is absolutely amazing. I was like, I can do this from my phone in hospital. I can work 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there, 15 minutes there, I can pick and choose. I've got no targets. I've got no one to answer back to. I was like, this is absolutely amazing. I was like, the only thing that's holding me back is the training, because I don't know anything about makeup, about skincare, about nutrition. And this was the beauty, because she then said to me, Danni, full training is given and it's free full training. And at this point, I thought, obviously, I want to do this to create an income for myself. But I thought, even if I save money on my own shopping, because obviously I have a family that are eating and drinking and using personal care products, I was like, even if I save money on my own shopping and learn things that I'm interested in. I was interested in nutrition, but I just didn't have the money to pay for nutrition courses. I was like, so it's all free. She's like, yeah. I was like, I couldn't see any downside to it. I didn't see any downside to this. I was like, okay, so it's £30, pay for my website for the year. I get all free training. I get a discount on my own shopping. And if I happen to refer any products to any, if anyone buys any products based on my referral, I get paid the following week. She's like, yeah. I was like, I'm in. Now, she then went on to tell me about the B stamp. So basically, you know, if you wanted someone to come to your house to sort out your gas, you'd make sure that they were gas safety registered or Corgi registered. You wouldn't just get like Uncle Bob from down the road unless he was gas safety registered. So in online businesses, they have to adhere to strict standards to make sure like what they're saying about their products is true. So like when Arbonne say our products are plant-based, this company, the B stamp, makes sure that that is true. When they're saying that the products are vegan, they make sure that's true. When they're saying the products are gluten-free and kosher, they make sure that's true, etc., etc. So only, I think, 2,000 companies globally have the B stamp, and the B stamp is the most prestigious stamp that you can have, that basically says that everything that you have said is true, that you are doing everything that you can to leave the earth better than it was before, so that everything's like recyclable. Everything is like no animal testing. It's like a really ethical company. It's like, so for me, I want to shop with B corporations now. Like I really make a beeline for a B corporation. So Arbonne has the B stamp. So I know for a lot of you, you've probably heard of that, and it does have the B stamp, and you have to have that tested every single year to make sure that you are still adhering to those strict standards. And every year Arbonne passes and gets that B stamp. Okay, so I've already said the products that Arbonne do, over 500, they're plant-based. They've got high clean standards, so no nasties. They're developed with experts, and we have scientific testing, so it's backed by science as well. Now, when I first started Arbonne, I did pay £30 for my business, but then I wanted to buy some products because they were at cost. And the first products that I wanted to buy for myself was the children's ABC range. Both my children had really bad skin, and I had tried everything. Nothing worked. And I might as well have just like put my money down the toilet. So when I went onto my website, I saw that they had this kids hair and body wash. And I think at the time, I mean, this was like 7 years ago, I think at the time it was about £15. Now, for some people, that's not going to sound like a lot, but for me, I was taken aback. I was like, £15 for a hair and body wash. I was used to spending £1, so you can see the difference. So I rang up the girl that introduced me. I said, look, I do understand that the products are clean. There's no nasties. There's no animal testing. They're scientifically backed. Like, I get all that. I said, but I cannot justify spending £15 on a hair and body wash when I only spend £1. And she said to me, look, Danni, I understand what you're saying. She said, can I ask you, the products that you're using at the minute, do they work? And I was like, no, because my kids still had really bad skin. I was like, no, they don't work. She said, okay. And she goes, and how often are you replacing the hair and body wash? I said, every week. So she said, so in a year, you spend £1 a week. So that's about £52 a year on hair and body wash. And think about the environmental damage of all those bottles. And I was like, yeah, fair point. So she said, so Arbonne's one is £15. That'll probably last you a year. Plus it's one bottle versus 52. And she said to me, if it works, is it worth it? And I didn't even need to hesitate, because of course, being a parent, if I'm going to find a solution, of course I'm willing to pay for that solution. But what I was worried about was paying for it and it not working. So she said to me, look, Arbonne have a 90-day money-back guarantee that all preferred clients can access if they use a product and that product doesn't work for them, because, you know, not everything works for everybody, or if they bought a foundation and it wasn't the right color, like, there is a no questions asked 90-day money-back guarantee. And I just thought to myself, if this company is so sure of their products that they're willing to give a no questions asked 90-day money back guarantee, I'm willing to take a risk and give it a go. And I bought it. I paid the £15 and it arrived about 2 or 3 days later via carbon neutral delivery service, which I loved. It was all about that. Good for the environment, or better, should I say, better for the environment. And it worked. Within 3 or 4 days, my kid's skin had cleared up for the first time in about 4 years. And I'd tried everything. Honestly, I tried everything. And then what happened was some people saw the difference in my kid's skin and started to ask me, Danni, what are you doing differently with the girl's skin? I can see it's cleared up. And so I just said to them, I mean, this was like 7 years ago. So I think I said something like, oh, I've got this online franchise. It cost me £30 for the year. It's from Switzerland. All the products are clean. And basically they're not sold in shops so that they can bring the overheads down. And they're only sold via word of mouth. They're exclusive. You can't buy them from anywhere else. Only a consultant that's paid for the rights to have their website. But I can send you my link and you literally go on it like you would on Amazon or any shopping device and order it. It's delivered straight to your door. I don't take any money, but if you like it, I get paid a referral fee. And they were like, brilliant, send me a link. And that was it. I was like, okay. And they did. And I think my first paycheck with Arbonne was probably like, was nothing. It was like £12 for the month. And obviously that's, you know, in business, that's laughable, isn't it? But I was like, just new. I was just getting started with it. And then they used the products and they loved it. And they started recommending me to their friends and family. And within a year, I had like 1,000 clients shopping on my website in Canada, in America, in Australia, in New Zealand, in Poland, across the UK. And I didn't know 99% of those people. Originally, it was referrals. People were referring people to me. And I'd go to sleep at nighttime. I'd go on my app on my phone because the business comes as an app and it would have a certain level of turnover on it. And I'd wake up in the morning 10 hours later and people had been buying on the other side of the world sun lotion and mascara and detox tea bags and things like that. It was absolutely amazing. It just, oh my gosh, no regrets whatsoever. So, few last things that I want to leave you with. Work habits. Work habits are changing. So in the UK, the direct selling generates 5.9 million sales per year. And that's turning over 2 billion in economic contribution. You know, this is a great industry to be a part of. Social businesses are growing and direct selling is the UK's largest provider of part-time earning opportunities. And in terms of wellness, it's booming, isn't it? $4.2 trillion business in the wellness, and we're a part of it, which is fantastic. So how it works, really easy. You pay your £30, you get your online website, you get asked to renew that every 12 months. It costs £25 to renew every 12 months. You get your website and you get the discount on the products to start off with straight away. And then you get a special website link that's got like your name attached to it. So I think mine's something like www.arbonne/Danni Wells, something like that. And you send that to people when they ask you about the products. They can go on and shop. And when they make a purchase, so let's say somebody purchased them as a mascara off you. Then if they love the mascara, which I haven't found anyone that hasn't loved the mascara yet, what they then do is they go on and reorder it when the mascara is running low, and you get paid not only for their first order, but for every single order they make for the rest of their life. So if they order, say it's a woman that orders 3 mascaras a year, for example. So if she orders 3 mascaras for a year and she's got like another 40 years left of buying mascara, you're going to get paid on, that's 120, isn't it? Yeah, 120 mascaras from that one person for the rest of her life. Like, that's how this business works. And what happens is it doesn't just stop with that one person, because she'll recommend people to you that you don't know and say, oh, I've been buying this mascara off my friend, it's amazing, this is her website link. So we earn weekly with commissions, but we can also, if we want to, opt in to do coaching, teaching and training consultants if we want to. It's an optional side to the business. I do this. So I opt into taking people on like an apprentice. So taking somebody on, they open up their own business and I coach and train them on how to do this. So I also put on like part of the free training. And as a thank you, Arbonne send me a mentoring override. Like, it's like a paycheck. It's like a small paycheck. So if I coach somebody, they get paid the full 35% from any sales that turn through their business, rightly so, because it's their business, it's their customer, not mine. But because Arbonne recognize that I'm putting on training and I'm answering their questions, I'm helping them process orders, like, you know, it's like when someone's new, they're always asking you things, which is fine. Arbonne recognize that and pay me anywhere between 1% and 18% in overrides, just to say thank you. So it's a thank you mentoring paycheck, which we get paid every month. Right. So that is everything. If you've got any questions at all, please feel free to ask. If it was me that introduced you to looking at this business, or if it was somebody else, please feel free to ask. I love talking about Arbonne. So any questions, ask away. And all I would say is, in 2014, when I was looking at this business, I genuinely didn't have a clue how to run a business. I didn't know nothing about skincare, nutrition, makeup, but I had a desire to create an income for my family, to make our family better. And somebody said to me, where do you see yourself in 5 years' time? Which at that point was 2019. And when I thought about my life as a family, carrying on the way that we were, I was like, house repossessed, bailiffs at the door, marriage on the brink. And I know that's probably really glum to say, but that was where I saw 5 years from now. And then when they said to me, if you do Arbonne and you create this income from Arbonne, and you create a client base, maybe even take on teaching and training consultants, and you make an income for yourself, where do you see yourself going in 5 years from then? And I just saw this totally different world. I was like, dream house, dream holidays, better car. When my kids ask for like school trips or things that they need, I can say yes, not thinking, oh gosh, where am I going to find that money from? And it was like two totally different worlds. And I had to make that decision which world I wanted to go down. And Arbonne is work. Yes, you know, when people ask you questions like, well, what do you think to the fizz stick drinks? Well, what do you think to the protein shakes? What do you think to the skincare? You know, it is conversations with people. It is work. Like if someone asked you about a Netflix documentary, you know, you are taking the time to give them a summary of what you think and answering their questions. But to me, it's a beautiful work because I love talking to people. I love being honest. And sometimes I have conversations with people and they're like, oh, it doesn't sound like the body cleanse. I can see it right now. It doesn't sound like the 7-day body cleanse is for me. And I'm not offended by that. I'm like, okay, you know, sometimes I tell people about great movies that Disney have released and they're like, doesn't sound like my cup of tea. I'm not offended by that. I don't lose any sleep over it. But some people are like, oh, that movie sounds amazing. And if somebody makes a purchase based on your recommendation, you get paid the following week. And I just love having conversations with people about these products, and then they use the product brand and they fall in love and they see a difference. They're like, oh, finally a solution I've been looking for. And it makes you feel like you've got massive purpose. I wake up in the morning, every morning now, happy. Whereas I look back and I used to wake up miserable and stressed. I always used to feel like I was carrying the weight of the world on my shoulders. And so doing this business it has transformed my life. I know that's probably a little bit wild to say, but it just makes me so happy and just full of passion and purpose and having something really great to do. And the products are great as well. I love all the products. So if you want to ask questions about this and thinking about your life in 5 years' time, where will you be if you don't change anything versus where you would be if you did do something like this and it made a complete difference to where your family's life's going? So ask away and I'm more than happy to answer. Thank you.